No fancy intros here, folks. I'm about to jump right on in. Graphics. Considering that this game is basically a mobile game ported to PC, you'd think that it'd be well optimized. It's not. However, lowering the resolution to 720p and turning off bloom made my game run like butter. I'm telling you guys, if my PC can run it, yours can too. Playing with friends, the friend system is, to say the least, extremely unintuitive. You have to fiddle around in your settings in order to figure out how to add your friends on the game. Even then, the party system doesn't even work until you level up and unlock Team Deathmatch, since it doesn't work with FFA. I've actually found that the best way to join your buddy's FFA game is to have them hop into a game and join by clicking on their profile and clicking the join game button, all while praying the lobby isn't full. One thing the devs did right, though, is they made customization extremely simple and easy to pick up. Don't like the default skins? Go ahead and make your own skin, which is something you can do as a fresh install. Gameplay. Pixel Strike 3D is something you pick up because you're an FPS aficionado looking to get a kill streak so high, your clueless victims are removed from this plane of existence. Somewhat unsurprisingly, though, your experience is completely nullified because the weapons in this game are in need of some heavy facelifts. For example, as a fresh install, you'll quickly learn that any weapons that aren't considered SMGs are inherently bad, since gameplay proves that high fire rate tops everything else. With the sheer amount of choke points in the maps you'll find yourself in, you'll find that there's basically no situation in which a sniper rifle would be a good pick. Some might ask, wouldn't shotguns be a good option? To that, I say you'd think shotguns would deal more than 50 damage when all the pellets connect. You'd be wrong. In addition to this, even if you're using the Meter MP5, you'll still notice that your experience is a little, let's say, fucked up. For instance, with the way the weapons are designed, getting the drop on an enemy gamer barely means anything. The weapons deal so little damage, they give the enemy plenty of time to react. All while this is happening, every death feels like you've been unfairly hit by a bus with 17 engines that happens to be carrying anvils in its seats. Some other things are just as unbalanced, such as the laughably unviewable stimpaks, but I won't get into that too much. Overall, as a whole, Pixel Strike 3D is wasted potential. The ideas are right, but the execution of said ideas leaves a lot to be desired. Solid gameplay is an important part of a good game, which means shotguns shouldn't need more than 6 shots to kill someone who's breath-smelling distance from you. Pixel Strike 3D is a good game to pick up if you feel like ducking around with a few buddies for a night. Should you go any longer, though, you'll catch yourself saying what? That's bullshit. More and more 4/10. Would not recommend. This game is fun for 2 hours until there's some idiot who spends their life savings on the game, then there's the pro host totally not cheating, and then there's that one guy host only drinking his diet is Red Bull, so now has basically the scout from TF2 on coke, and then there's the camper with a sniper rifle, and let's not forget mostly everyone's favorite, the trehead host fingers are sweater than that gif meme of the dude sweating heavily, and my personal favorite, the person who just started with 5 minutes on it who does not even know how the game works, and of course the pro farms kills off of him/her cause he is good. My last words on this review, add DNT cheat edit, it's a broken floaty unfun fucking Minecraft XGO knockoff with no inspiration whatsoever. It even used hay bale, ladder, redstone lamp, clay, even cactus textures, so they also ripped Minecraft assets 2/10. I've had more fun in Pixel Gun 3. I'm not done quite yet. 80% of the skins look nothing like in the cover art for it. In fact, out of them are ripped Minecraft custom skins. There's not even effort in the animations. I've seen better view model animations in Half-Life 1. This game is so bad. The damage of the weapons is bad. The player models are bad. Everything about this game is bad. When I shoot someone, it's like throwing a used condom filled full of motor oil at them. Don't get me wrong, this game is really enjoyable, but the matches are a bit dumb. Not the way they are structured, it's good, but the fact that I keep getting into lobbies with people who are over the level of 40 and 60 when I became level 12. I'm currently level 21 and still getting into lobbies that have over 40 to 50 levels more than me. I feel like this is unfair cause this can have people who are way more skilled than me than I should be able to handle. So all your friends are raving about this new free to play game they found called Pixel Strike 3D. Well, actually, it's the only game they can all agree on. After downloading the game, you start it up and customize your character. Pretty nice editor, will admit that. You join a game and walk around a little. Poof. You're dead. You, a little rattled, respawn after a few seconds. This time you manage to sneak up on someone, but his guns kill you with one shot and yours don't, so it doesn't work. Eventually you realize that the people who are winning every match are the kamikazes who are simply throwing themselves into every danger possible, since everyone gets unlimited respawns and there is really no incentive not to die. Can you say rage? They mine Bitcoin on a CPU, lol. Why does my RAM go to 90% every time I open this? What is crypto? And why is it mining it? I just wanted to play Pixel Sturg. Extremely boring and depressing of a game. You guys should not download this game. If you think it's Pixel Gun 3D you played on your phones years ago, this isn't that. Absolutely loved quickscoping and destroying the children that play this godforsaken game. Poopy game though. Alright, you'll buckle up, because this is probably the most honest review you'll find on this game. This game is extremely similar to Pixel Gun 3D, and doesn't have a whole lot to offer. The matchmaking is bad, really bad. If you want to get manhandled by players who paid money to have the best weapons, gear, etc., then be my guest and play on. But if you're a serious, skill-bound type of player, you might as well go buy Call of Duty and stop wasting time trying to find a cheaper alternative. The game gave me stage 4 cancer and my family died after I began playing it, and my teacher gave a pop quiz. Not only that, my dog and cat wanted to have sex with me after I played the game. Pixel Strike 3D offers by far one of the worst user experiences out of any free multiplayer game I have tried. The only enjoyable part about playing it is cyberbullying children with a pixelated sniper rifle, and that is questionable in and of itself. The movement is clunky, the player gets no feedback in combat, the UI is actively painful to use, the other gameplay elements are poor at best, and the community is worse than basically any other game I've played. There is no reason to download this game, and I would strongly recommend picking almost any other free shooter on Steam, if that's what you're after. Movement in Pixel Strike 3D is about as bare bones as it gets. You can walk, sprint, and jump, that's it. Normally when a game has basic movement there are other mechanics to get the hang of that make it more interesting. Quake and TF2 have rocket jumping, and the Counter-Strike series has notoriously complex movement, even though its set of controls is limited. Pixel Strike 3D feels like floating around in a default Unity project with slightly higher gravity. There is no inertia, and there is an amount of friction that perfectly counterweights movement, meaning that the player jolts forwards and stops immediately. Quite literally nothing exists to learn and master as far as movement is concerned. This game has almost no gameplay feedback. There are few audio cues to assist you in keeping track of the game space, and the only pieces of kinetic feedback you get from using weapons are hitmarkers. These elements together make gameplay feel linear and flat. It is difficult to get a sense for the power levels of weapons and the differences between them, since they all just produce hitmarkers where you point them. Most guns also feel like pea shooters. I don't know if this is due to the lack of feedback, and I don't want to play more of this game to test how much damage they actually do. Either way, it does not make for a good gameplay experience to feel like you are shooting a paintball gun. I would at least like a nice ka-chunk when I hit someone's head, but apparently the developers could not afford the effort to put a basic element like that in. In fact, you don't get any type of feedback for kills besides a points indicator. Pixel Strike 3D's UI hurts to use. Normally I would criticize something for being cluttered or difficult to navigate, and while that is a bit of a problem here, the largest issue is the lack of responsiveness. All menus in the game have a sluggish feel due to both lag and slow animations. This is on top of pop-up windows that only exist because this is a lazy port directly from mobile, and frequent UI freezes in game that force you to hold escape to bring up your cursor in order to proceed. In a vacuum, this makes the user experience with the interface awkward, but there are other issues that make it worse. Grouping with friends is an annoying process that requires you both to access the group's menu individually. It would be easier to just give someone a notification when you invite them, especially since the game has no shortage of other annoying windows that show up. Once you are in a group, there are a few modes you can queue for. However, after joining a lobby you are locked there. If you want to try a different mode, you will need to entirely restart the game and regroup, since it soft locks when you leave. Other issues plague the game, adding up like iron bricks on a camel's back. For one, the maps are boring. This may be in part due to the lackluster movement, but even outside of that there is little to distinguish them from one another rather than aesthetic. They are collections of rooms, hallways, balconies, and cover with nothing to make any map memorable or interesting to play on. This is not including the Battle Royale map, which is its own can of worms. Let's discuss these worms. The space is far too big for the number of players that are usually queued. Landmark locations are also not used for anything since item spawns have completely random placement and are seemingly client-side. Multiple people were able to pick up the same guns when we tested. The Battle Royale suffers from numerous additional issues. Inventory plays its role uniquely in the worst possible way. Rather than having the weapon colors correlate to quality, they correlate to slot. You can carry one primary, one secondary, and one melee. If you equip a different gun, it deletes the one that you were holding in that slot previously. If you kill another player, it deletes their inventory entirely. There are no ammo or health items to carry around, only clumsily scattered pickups that replenish their entire respective resource. One last miserable gameplay element is a hit reg. Every landed shot is delayed by a little bit, which not only makes the weapons feel bad to use, but also leads to a lot of kill trades despite every gun being hit scan. The community is perhaps worse than gameplay possibly can be. Since Pixel Strike 3D is free, and would probably score an E10+ if it had a rating, it is largely populated by children. This creates lobbies with a level of chaotic toxicity that I've never seen before. Players are perfectly willing to lob ineffectual desperate insults at each other, stooping down to racism and death threats at a rate impressive even for a video game. It feels like walking through a middle school hallway probably, because that is the demographic that populates the servers. Toxicity doesn't normally get to me in a direct way, but the types of messages thrown around in this game give off an aggressively hollow edgy energy that makes me feel like I'm going to cringe my bones out of my skin. If you are sensitive to toxicity, don't play it. If you aren't, but want to keep your brain cells, don't play it. Pixel Strike 3D is an all-around miserable experience. There are so many small things that I didn't get into here. The minimap sucks, weapon drops frequently float out of reach, your sensitivity somehow consistently manages to feel wrong compared to other games, the lobbies always have low player counts, people stutter around, I keep getting switched back to EU servers, the cosmetics menu doesn't even work, and so on. Even outside of that, the issues that fundamentally exist with gameplay, user interface, and community make it a low pick out of the many free shooters to choose from. Honestly, fuck this game. Skip it.